In today's recap, we're going to talk about how Team USA finally did not look outmatched, whether that's against the San Francisco Giants in spring training or Team Mexico in the WBC. Maybe that's because they faced an 11-year-old Canadian starting pitcher. That could be the case. There was a perfect game in the Puerto Rico contest, and then also we are going to talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. and Bo Bichette. They've been making some noise in spring training. Just a reminder to everyone watching, if you're going to any baseball games anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off. And also, if you like baseball, hit that subscribe button. Now, unfortunately for Mets fans, the injury news continues as Jose Quintana, he's going to be out for the next 2 to 3 months with a stress fracture in his 5th rib. I don't know what that means, but it kind of blows my mind that nothing happened to Jose Quintana in terms of blunt force trauma or anything like that. He simply fractured his rib. I don't know if that's because he overextended himself while throwing a pitch. I don't know if they're holding something back. I have no idea what the situation is with Jose Quintana, but he's going to be missing 3 months with a stress fracture to his rib. Also, that's really hard to say. Stress fracture. There we go. Now, because that was not the most wholesome story, I do want to talk about something that was wholesome. So a few days ago, Roki Sasaki of Team Japan, he hit a Czech player in the knee. His name is William Escala, directly in the knee at 102 miles an hour. That's not going to feel great. So the next morning, Roki actually found that guy, William, at his hotel, and he gave him a bunch of Japanese candy. I thought that this was awesome. Roki, obviously, he felt really bad. And also, Team Japan in general, we know that for the most part, Japanese people are a lot more respectful and a lot more caring than others. And the fact that he tracked this guy down, he gave him a present pretty much for him and all of his teammates, I thought that was amazing. From one Japanese pitcher to another, Shintaro Fujinami, he struck out 7 Colorado Rockies yesterday over about 3-ish innings. Now, he did give up a few runs, but he has absolutely filthy stuff. He throws decently hard, like 95 to 97 miles an hour, but his best pitch is obviously that splitter. When I think about pitchers who have the best splitters, it always seems to be those who come from Japan. So when I have kids, I'm going to send them off to Japan for at least 2 to 3 years. They're going to go learn a splitter, and they're not going to come back home until they have mastered it, because it is one of the best out pitches in all of baseball. Shohei Ohtani, yeah, he had one of the lowest batting average on that splitter. It's basically unhittable when located properly and when you actually execute it well. Now, one other pitcher that struck out 7 as well, Brent Honeywell Jr. Now, if you're my age, that name probably sounds familiar because back in the day, Brent was a top-ranked prospect in all of Major League Baseball, but unfortunately, over his 7 to 8 year career, he had Tommy John surgery as well as 3 other surgeries to his arm, so 4 collective surgeries on your arm. I don't know how he's still pitching, but he struck out 7. I am hoping that he gets a chance to be a bullpen arm for the Padres. That would just be another wholesome moment. I want Brent Honeywell Jr. to be a stud, whether that's in the starting rotation or the bullpen. I don't care. I just want him to be out there. All right, let's go ahead and showcase Bo Bichette hitting not just 1, but 2 home runs in yesterday's spring training game. Bo Bichette gets so much crap and hate for being pretty bad at defense, and rightfully so. He is stinky when it comes to playing shortstop, but in my opinion, he doesn't get enough credit for his offensive skills. Yes, he chases. He is not very good at the strike zone, but if we take a look at kind of the baseball savant numbers, he is top 10% in average exit velocity, so he smashes the ball. He's also top 10% in hard hit percentage, so he's averaging 36 doubles, 26 home runs, and 19 stolen bases over the last 2 seasons. This might be a hot take, but if Bo Bichette learns the strike zone a little bit better and does not chase, he could be a top 10 hitter in all of Major League Baseball. Again, that could be a hot take, but I'm not going to stray away from that. If Bo Bichette stops striking out so much and stops chasing pitches in the other batter's box, he could be an all-time talent. Now, real quick, I do want to show off Fernando Tatis Jr. He had an RBI single in yesterday's game, and also in the same conversation, we're going to bring up Michael Conforto because both of these guys, they missed all of 2022. Conforto had a shoulder injury, and then we all know what happened with Fernando Tatis, but Michael Conforto has a career 124 OPS plus from 2017 to 2020. He was averaging 24 home runs a season with a 134 OPS plus. That is an elite hitter if you're asking me. Then there's Fernando Tatis Jr. He has a career 160 OPS plus. The last time that we saw him, he led the National League in home runs with 42, and he had 25 stolen bases. I am so excited to see both of these guys back in baseball. And then the final story from spring training that we're going to talk about before we break down the WBC, two different Maxes we're going to talk about, Max Kepler and Max Muncy. Kepler is hitting .219 with the 96 OPS plus over the last 2 seasons. He has been a below average hitter, but if we take a look at his savant, he is smashing baseballs. He's pretty fast. He is an elite defender. He had 11 outs above average in 2022. That is absolutely otherworldly. And then back in 2019, he had 36 home runs and a 123 OPS plus. Now that the shift is gone, Max Kepler, he could yet again be an elite baseball player. And again, we're going to talk about one other Max, Max Muncy. He hit 196 with the 96 OPS plus last season, but he was pretty good with the glove. 7 DRS as a third baseman at the hot corner. That is really good. I'm hoping that Kepler and Muncy both bounce back in 2023. All right, let's talk about these World Baseball Classic games. We have Team DR versus Nicaragua. Christian Javier, he made this look easy. 4 strikeouts over 4 scoreless innings. Juan Soto and Manny Machado, they went yard. They put the game way out of reach, but a really cool story. 21-year-old Duque Eber of Team Nicaragua, he was amazing. He struck out Juan Soto, J-Rod, and Rafael Devers, and there was a Tiger scout in the stands watching him pitch. He was given a contract immediately. He is now going to be a big leaguer, and that is just another wholesome moment for today. You love to see it. Great Britain versus Colombia. Chavez Young, have yourself a day. He singled in 2 runs to tie it at 3 runs apiece, and then he made a web gem later on in the game. Paul Rudd's son, Jaden Rudd, that is a joke, by the way, they are not related, but he ripped it open for Team Great Britain yet again. And then 20-year-old Harry Ford, he hit another home run. This kid is going to be so good for the Mariners once he's actually old enough to be considered ready to play professional baseball. Although, again, he is raking in the WBC, so maybe he's already ready. Then again, they have Cal Raleigh, so they can give him some time to mature. Great Britain, they end up shocking Colombia as Ian Jabot, he closes it out, and he loses his T in the process. The Great Britain jerseys, they need some work. Puerto Rico versus Israel. Javier Baez, Francisco Lindor, and Jose De Leon, they put the team on their backs yesterday. Baez and Lindor, they drove in 5 RBIs combined, and Baez later, he showed off why he's called El Mago, the magician. How does he make this look so easy? When you think of guys avoiding tags when they're sliding into a bag, pretty much your first thought is Javier Baez. Anyways, Puerto Rico, they put up a 10 spot, and Jose De Leon, he struck out 10 over nearly 6 perfect innings, and they had a walk-off perfect game run rule in the 8th inning of the World Baseball Classic. What did I just say? And then last but certainly not least, Nolan Arenado, he got Team USA cooking early. 3 more RBIs as he clears the bases against 19-year-old Canadian starting pitcher Mitch Bratt. He is a single-A pitcher, but good for him. He went out there and tried his best. Cedric Mullins, he tripled in Trey Turner, and then the Canadian scouting department, they just failed to fill this guy in. That Mike Trout is one of the greatest low ball hitters in the history of history. Mike Trout, he goes yard. TA7, he triples in another, and TT makes it a 12 spot as Lance Lynn, he was out there cooking, folks. 6 strikeouts, only 1 earned run. Team USA finally looked like a dominant team, which again, finally took about 3 games versus the Giants in spring training. Who did they beat? I don't even remember. Great Britain, and then obviously they got punched in the face by Mexico. So this was the first time that I looked at Team USA and said, that was fun. That does it for today's recap. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're bored, check out this video right here and have a wonderful rest of your day.